All right, welcome everybody to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks, Mr. Bill Kimler. Welcome, Bill.
Hello, we at Black, White, and Blue in the South are a day late and a podcast short.
Y'all can follow Bill across all social media at Political Bill SC. If you want to participate in the show, you can chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage at theallaboutnothing.com. Please follow and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. I guess we'll get started. How are you?
Do we really have people participate on the show? I mean, how often does that happen?
On occasion. Don't badmouth those five or
the opening.
Two
Come
people.
On. I mean,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. So we did not release an episode today. It is still in the editing room. I am working on the middle of our interview with Dr. Annie Andrews, and I'm going to aim to get it released by the end of day tomorrow. Okay. We just had a busy couple of days. I just could not been able to get to the computer to do any work on it.
Yeah, you all traveled down here to Columbia yesterday for the big.
We did. Didn't see
Jermaine
you,
Johnson
but we were there. You're too busy getting
me.
strikes and spares.
I didn't do too bad. I think I bowled like a 148 and a 132, and then like a one. No, that was all I bowled. I only bowled 2 games last night.
My stepdaughter competitively bowled for a little while there. She was really into bowling up until 8th grade, and she was averaging 190, 200, between there on a regular basis. Part of a team that would compete. She got a little bit of a scholarship from Pepsi, for winning or placing second in a statewide tournament.
That's amazing.
And then she just lost interest, and she's in high school now. And she plays volleyball.
Hold on, this was before high school.
Yeah, 8th grade. This was 7th, 8th grade. She was getting those type of averages.
I forget. My 8th grade was in high school, so I had my high school was 5 years long, so we didn't have middle school program, but. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's really. Incredible. I would never bowl with her. I did not want to be, look that bad in front of somebody who was, half my size and a third of my weight, and she's out there getting turkeys left and right.
Yeah,
it's like, no, thank you. I don't need that embarrassment.
That's completely fair.
We should not allow women to play men's sports. I am adamantly against that.
Hold on,
because they make us look bad.
You identified bowling as a sport. Why would you do
Was that my mistake?
That was a huge mistake. Real quick, I want to remind everybody, Preach Jacobs, host of the Preach Jacob podcast. Next SoulHAUS Session with Preach Jacobs is on November 19th at the University of South Carolina Koger Center for the Arts. Doors open at 5 o'clock. He'll be spinning vinyl 6 o'clock. Discussion begins with renowned author DéLana Dameron. Information can be found by visiting the show notes or following Preach on Instagram at Preach Jacobs. So anyway, got that out of the way. Sorry, Bill. Tried to make it quick for you.
You did fine. I barely heard it.
That's fair. I want to start with the thing that's pissing me off the most, and I think that is mostly people's reactions now to what is inevitably going to be probably one of the biggest events to occur probably in the last 20 years. That that post 9/11, post the Great Recession, is the fact that 40 million people beginning Saturday are no longer going to have the assistance from the state governments for things like SNAP and WIC, and the reaction that people are giving has basically confirmed that the Republican Party is fully MAGA, and that those MAGA are without any compassion whatsoever.
They are relishing in this. There is a very large contingent of Americans that are looking forward to their fellow citizens going hungry because every last one of them is a freeloader who deserves to go hungry.
Yeah.
And that is a very good thing to be pissed off about.
Low-income working families, seniors, people with disabilities, and nearly half of all infants born in the United States rely on WIC and SNAP. States like California are already suing the federal government, and local food banks are overwhelmed, underscoring that is the safety net that is now running out of space in states, even as.
And let's remind ourselves, there's money there that could be released right this second. There is a contingency fund.
We just sent $40 billion to Argentina.
Yeah.
How
to help the nutcase out there who's running the country, and his currency was sinking, so they went and propped up his economy. But there was literally a multi-billion-dollar reserve fund. I think you were talking about in our last show by the USDA, right? That they could release
$5 to $6 billion that is available specifically for situations like a government shutdown, to which Donald Trump sent a letter to the USDA, the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, and told them under no circumstances do they tap into that money, that is for emergency situations, which I don't know how the President of the United States and his administration don't see this as an emergency situation.
It is a conscious choice, and it is a conscious decision by the Republican Senate and House to let it go, to allow that to occur. This is 100% an act of cruelty, intentional cruelty, punishing the people who are most endangered. That is their MO.
Here is one of the more shocking things that I don't.
Is that why you're wearing your shirt today? Is that why you're wearing what you feel?
It was on top. That's how I usually get dressed in the dark. This shirt was on top. That's why my hair looks the way it does. This is, no, not intentional. It's just, and ultimately nobody's paying me to make this better. So, as long as I don't have to be on camera for work, this is the face that
I just imagine you have Zach off to the side with your makeup chair ready, and he brushes you up before you go on air.
It's funny you bring that up. I was reminded today that the Falcons play the Panthers on the 16th of November.
Clash of the Titans. It'll be a great game.
Yeah. Well, if the Panthers win, my beard is going to be bleached and then dyed Panther blue, because the Panthers will have won both games against the Falcons this year. And I'm contemplating whether or not I need to go to that game to impact its outcome as much as possible. Even down to streaking across the field and taking Bryce Young out myself.
Okay, I got a situation question for you.
Sure.
You got free tickets to go to that game, but then you realize it's your wife's birthday. What do?
Ironically, that game and my wife's birthday are only about a week apart.
Okay.
But in that situation, if I'm, gosh, I think she'd let me go. I think she, I suspect she would let me go to that game.
Oh, I thought she would let you go as a husband.
That might be on the table anyway.
Because I had that situation happen to me this week.
Really?
Yeah, I had a friend in town that scored tickets to go see Rush up in Charlotte.
Okay.
In November. And, this is their surprise announcement 50th anniversary tour out of nowhere.
Right.
Nobody expected to see them live again. And they got a new drummer, and she looks fantastic. And it just looks like it's going to be an amazing show. And friend got tickets, and I realized the date was my wife's birthday. And I texted her. I said, "Hey there, would you like to go see some Bill music live on your birthday?" She's like, "Nope."
First of all,
thank you.
For anyone that isn't a fan of Rush and that you wouldn't automatically assume they'd want to go. So, because I think there are two different people in this world. There are people that are like, Rush is a great jam band that I want to see. And then there are people like, who the fuck is Rush?
Right.
Yeah. So ultimately the fact that you had to You
ask.
Yeah, you had to ask. You knew that the answer was going to be no.
I know. Crazy. So I had to give up those tickets, and they went elsewhere. And so I sat. No, I have seen Rush a couple of times already in the past. So I feel like, all right, I got to see them.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a critical moment in my life where I had to have this one and only chance. So wife's birthday it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah. Rush for me is in that same ranking of Rush and Fish and Pearl Jam. Like, these are bands that
I don't see Rush as a jam band though. Like those other two are.
Yeah, that's probably not true. But they have that cult like following.
Yeah.
Like that's I guess that's sort of the niche.
The very first album I ever owned in my life was a Rush album, given to me as a gift by my aunt and uncle, and I was maybe 4th, 5th grade. Phenomenal. It was Rush Signals.
Yeah.
And there was a song in that album about the launch of the space shuttle, because this was early 80s. I mean, the space shuttle was brand new, and a whole science-y type song that I just completely gravitated to as a young boy. They were a very inspirational part of my life.
Well,
I will never get to see again.
Thanks
I think to my wife. I am not bitter.
The question that I have then is, music CDs came into being when you were in your teens. I was.
Oh, I remember my friend got like the first one with the CD player on the block. Man, this thing was massive. And we all gathered around like we were like Neanderthals looking at fire for the first time. It was amazing.
Well, what was your first CD purchase that you ever made?
I think it was a Rush album.
Yeah.
It was Rush Hold Your Fire.
So this will probably not come as a shock. I was not the coolest kid in school when I was 12 years old, so 7th grade. I knew I was getting a CD player for Christmas because it was something that I had asked for. I had already been gifted a stereo that I'd be able to hook the left and right signals up to it so that I could play CDs through it. It had a phonograph on it, a record player, and 2 tape decks. So I knew I was getting a CD player for Christmas. And we were on our 7th grade school trip to Jekyll Island down on the coast of Georgia. And at one point we went from where we were staying at Jekyll Island to some sort of gift shop or something like that. It's close to Christmas. I go in there and I'm like, I need to get a CD so that I have something to play on this new CD player. I walked out having spent $22 on a Christmas Carol CD. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just desperate to have something that would play on this thing. So I spent like all of the money that I potentially would have had for anything.
And this is $22 in 1980s money.
Yeah. This was 1991. Yeah.
Oh, 91. Okay. Well, that's like $50 today.
No shit.
Maybe more.
Sorry.
On a Christmas Carol. Well done.
That was French. And
you could have bought a stock. You could have bought one stock in Microsoft and be independently wealthy right now. But no, you bought a Christmas Carol CD.
Yeah.
The choices you made.
There was not a Turtle Records or a Tower Records or any of those type of stores around for me to get it. I don't. And you know, the worst part is when in 1991, 7th grade, I lived right behind a mall. So I absolutely could have just walked to the mall where there was a Turtle Records and have purchased a decent album like Blues Traveler.
So not only were you not popular as a kid, you were also not very bright as a kid. That's the story I'm hearing.
There were poor decisions that were made. You
don't still have that CD hanging around, do you, by chance?
I don't have any CDs.
Oh, really?
I literally have no CDs. If for anything that is a music medium, I have vinyl, but
I never understood that. I wanted to mock the vinyls. I mean, we got out of vinyl for a reason. We got the cassette and we got the CDs because vinyl sucked.
Well,
why is it back?
I had 8 tracks too, but no, these vinyls I've had for several years. So I've got some Willie Nelson. I've got some Ben Folds. I bought when Cake came out on Record Store Day several years ago. They had their entire compilation of Cake albums, including a brand new one, which was a live album from a concert in California, I bought that because I love Cake.
If they put out something that was on a wax cylinder, would you have purchased it that you could have played on one of them old timey devices?
If it came out on Record Store Day and it was some sort of a special thing, there's a potential if Cake was selling candles right now, I would do it to support the band.
Were you old enough or young enough when they would actually publish little playable records on the back of cereal boxes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah. You could, McDonald's sometimes.
That was cool.
McDonald's would have, but it was always like, I think McDonald's, I don't remember what song it was, but it was like a 1960s rock song or something. But it was just a little bitty disc, and it had like maybe one song per side. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
I remember when Mad Magazine did that. They published a little record that you had to pop out of their magazine that was like flimsy as anything, but you could play it, and it was like a goofy Mad Magazine song. That was the best.
Who did Spy versus Spy? Who did they work for? Who did the two of them work for? I don't understand where they were getting their orders. It didn't seem like anything productive was happening.
They work for Tulsi Gabbard.
Is that what it was?
That's who they work for, Tulsi. You notice that she has the black and the white hair, right? See, she's actually the same spy playing both sides.
Here's how I know you're a fan of the first X-Men movie that came out, and you adored Jubilee in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason I think that she has that. It isn't like, and she has to maintain it because we've seen it fade over time. And then all of a sudden, a week later, it just comes back. Just there it is. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard's a fake. Speaking of fakes, Donald Trump was in Japan this week. He was doing a tour, I guess, of Asia. I have a clip that I want to air that is
okay. Hey, don't forget we have our 3 predictions we have to do at the end.
You're right. So we'll
make sure we get to that.
We'll speed through that. All right. So this is a clip from Donald Trump in front of the troops, I think in Okinawa.
I hope it's going to be okay, but I like steam. We're going to go back to steam. They changed just for the sake of changing. I said to the architect, have you ever designed a ship before? You know, he only did the biggest ship in the world, right? The Ford. But we're going to go back. Okay, now let me ask you the second question. Hydraulic for your elevators or magnets? You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, you can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water and you drop it on magnets. I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, the elevators come up in the new carriers. I think I'm going to change it, by the way. They have magnets. Not every tractor has hydraulic. Every excavator, every excavating machine of any kind has hydraulic. But somebody decided to use magnets for your elevator. Maybe they're good. Which is better, hydraulic or magnets? What the hell is wrong with these people? Can I ask you, the top-ranking gentleman right here? Seriously, I'm putting out an order. I'm going to sign an executive order. When we build aircraft carriers, it's steam for the catapults and it's hydraulic for the elevators. We'll never have a problem, okay? Do you agree? He agrees. Everybody agrees, but these people in Washington.
I swear, we have the dumbest president. I want to say.
Did he just say steam for the catapults?
Yes, and the reason is because the catapults did used to use steam. They would build steam pressure up so that the release of the release of the catapults was caused by a buildup of steam pressure that would then in the release would push it. What Donald Trump is saying, he misses seeing the steam coming off of the flight deck as they would catapult the planes out. That's why he wants to go back to the catapults with steam, because he doesn't, and he also thinks that magnets, once you get them wet, they stop working, which I have a couple magnets here.
Yeah, we don't need to do a science experiment. We all know.
Yeah. I'm gonna read back the things that he said, and if it was coming from somebody of normal intelligence, would this sound weird? You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, that can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water, you drop it on magnets, you don't know what's going to happen. So, the elevators come up in the new carriers. I think I'm going to change it. By the way, they have magnets. This is the President of the United States speaking to a crowd of sailors in the Navy and Marines that are mechanics and engineers and enlisted men that count on these things to work. The reason that the U.S. Navy in the larger, newer ships switched to magnets is because magnets are easier to maintain, they cost less, they also are more precise in movements, and you can count on them to work every time, where when you have pressure of steam build up in a capsule that is then intended to explode out, there's not as much control over it.
Well, think about where he is. He is in Japan, right?
Right.
And he must have seen the maglev trains that they have there that go 1,000 miles an hour floating on magnets.
Right.
And he wants to bring steam-powered trains back to the United States. That is the perfect analogy between modern society and the conservative, let's make America great again, as in back in the steam age. And that's where we're headed. We're burning coal again, remember?
Yeah.
We're burning more coal than ever before, right?
Yeah.
We love coal. And we're shutting down wind and water power and solar power. We're shutting those down because it's Green New Deal crap. But we'll bring back coal. We'll bring back steam. We're going to be going back to the freaking Stone Age.
I honestly miss the days when dementia patients would just be angry about not remembering someone's name or what day it was or whether or not they could drink milk. Like that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Texas is suing Johnson & Johnson over Tylenol and it's linked to autism.
I missed that one. Wow.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Yeah. Announced that he is suing the makers of Tylenol, claiming the company failed to warn consumers about the risks of taking the drug while pregnant. Paxton filed a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson and its spinoff company, Kenvue, claiming the companies willfully ignored and attempted to silence the science. Oh, I'm sorry. I put science in quotes. Connecting Tylenol to autism and attention deficit hyperactive disorder, violating the state's consumer protection laws. I just have to say this. I was today years old when I found out that Texas has consumer protection laws. That's insane to me. This is a state that relies on its population decline specifically because there are no consumer protection laws. Like, this is a state that goes out of its way to say that anything, go big or go home,
Right.
The likelihood is the lawsuit will die in discovery because Texas will be required to provide evidence that this science connecting Tylenol to autism actually exists. I don't know. I have friends and family that live in Texas, and I ask them, what is it like to live in Texas? And they all say the same thing is, we have a governor who is in a wheelchair and is paraplegic now because a tree fell on him. Lest anyone believe that Greg Abbott suffered from some disease or
a tree fell on him while he was out for a run.
He was out for a run.
He couldn't outrun the tree.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy story.
As well, another dumb of the week. The decades-long hunt for the remains of legendary Teamster boss Jimmy Hoffa has a political twist. The FBI continues to chase old tips about where Hoffa is buried. But his son is asking Donald Trump to release the Hoffa files.
That's what the people have demanded all this time. Remember how he released the JFK files and the MLK files?
Yeah.
And it all was just a big fart in the wind. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because you know what we learned is that MLK was murdered in Memphis, right? Wasn't it Memphis? And then I could be wrong about that. I think it was Memphis.
No, it was.
And JFK was killed by a lone gunman from the second floor of the book depository in Dallas, Texas. Like, I don't understand. And I am finding more and more that, and I've given up on trying to separate what I would consider to be rational Republicans from MAGA. I have had an enlightening that if they voted for Donald Trump, they are MAGA. And I think we've talked about that before, but there is no more compassion with the entire political sphere of the Republican Party. Going back to the fact that the WIC and SNAP benefits will no longer be available. And I have fears that even after the government returns, if we do come out of this shutdown, that they will not come back. Like, this is part of the plan. And I know it sounds conspiratorial, but I think that this is what Donald Trump is hoping will lead to what he will then be able to use to enact martial law and the Insurrection Act.
Well, it sounds like you have moved right into your predictions. Is that one of your official predictions?
No, it's not. I did write them down. I have to write them down. My mind goes.
All right. Well, let's we got to wrap up here shortly. Here, I say we segue into our predictions as to what we think will be true come this time on Monday.
All right. Do you want to go first? Age before
No. You got them written down. I got still got to think of some. I didn't have any preparation time. I'm going off the top of my head here.
All right.
Let's see if you can inspire me.
First one is to end the prolonged government shutdown. The president will offer to refund the SNAP benefit program, but only if new debit cards are rebranded as Trump victory vouchers.
Ooh, that's a good one, Barrett. That's a good one. I'm going to give that a 99% likelihood.
I think it's possible too.
That is more than possible. Like, you just took the humor out of this bit. You just gave something that was a little too realistic.
Yeah.
I had a SNAP prediction. Maybe mine's as realistic. I predict that when the SNAP benefits end, Trump will try to put on a good image by going to a local food pantry to distribute food by tossing hoagies into the audience like he did paper towels in Puerto Rico. He's going to stand there and just like throw food into the crowd and look like a good guy.
I absolutely can see that happening. I fully believe that is entirely possible. He will literally throw cans of food at people potentially. I can see that.
I went softer with hoagies and subs, but if you're thinking he's going to throw Campbell soup cans, I'm there with you.
I mean, why would we raise the bar on him now? You know, that doesn't seem necessary. I want to say before my next prediction, so Harvest Hope and the United Way are taking donations currently. You can certainly Google to find out your local or make a investment or charity donation to either one. Here in South Carolina, we have what is it called, the Palmetto Fund that they enacted yesterday. Donations can be made there. The United Way guarantees that every dollar will pay for a meal for 4. So $1 will be extended the value of it to be able to feed 4 people for one meal with that dollar. So I paid today, or I gave a donation to our local United Way through Kershaw County. Buddy of mine over there, I did a donation that will pay for 400 meals.
But here's the thing: we're not all getting together to handle a natural disaster. Right. This is uniting people because of an intentionally created man-made disaster, that man being Donald Trump. Yeah. All right, what's your second prediction?
A new executive order will be leaked next week, instructing all federal agencies that elimination of bureaucrat must be directed proportionally to the number of likes a president's corresponding True Social post has. You want me to say it again?
Yeah, I had a hard time following that one.
All right. A new executive order will be leaked next week, instructing all federal agencies that the elimination of a bureaucrat must be directly proportional to the number of likes a president's corresponding True Social.
So we are literally eliminating bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with it. Okay. I may have to get a Truth Social account and log in and like some of his posts to see that happen. I can get on board with that.
He has said before that he thinks that having a, what did he call it? A social credit is, because that's something that they've been doing in China, is that in China there you have social credits. And so the value of you as a person socially is based on, likes and engagement.
That's a fascinating thing to explore. Wow. Yeah.
And Donald Trump, I think, would potentially explore that.
All right. My second prediction. And I got inspired watching your clip of Trump in Japan. I think he's still in Japan, right? Or maybe he's on his way home.
Yeah, he might
be. I predict news will leak that Trump, and you know that Japan has a new prime minister, their first woman prime minister ever.
He got very handsy with her.
That Trump made some sort of off-the-cuff, inappropriate joke trying to be funny where he mentioned happy endings.
I absolutely could see that.
I think he's just trying to be goofy, and he looked at her and said, "Oh, this was a great trip. Never have I had such a happy ending," or something along those lines. I could see him doing that.
Yeah, I could see him doing that too. All right. My last one, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and I'm calling it War.
Oh, okay.
For the joke, will announce a new mandatory department-wide warrior ethos physical fitness test that consists solely of a timed competition to see which general can successfully break a beer bottle over his own head.
Wow. Wow. The standards are being elevated right in front of our eyes. Yes. All right. My final prediction. This is a good one. I predict that next Monday in our show, you will actually ask me about my trip to see Dr. Jermaine Johnson announce his gubernatorial candidacy.
That's right.
Something that's very relevant that I thought we were going to talk about today.
I just want you to know I had in my notes to ask you if you had seen Welcome to Derry yet, if you'd watched the first episode.
No, it's not part of this. It's not part of my schedule. I've got it. I've downloaded it, but I won't watch it for maybe another 3 years when I finally get to it.
I'm very disappointed that I'm not going to be able to talk to you about that, because
you will in 3 years. In November of 2028, as I got to get through it. I got to get through the TV series, the 2 movies, and there's even a Hindi show. I don't know if you know this. There was a 46 episode TV series that aired in India in Hindi called Woh, W-O-H. But it's about a killer clown that attacks kids in a neighborhood. It's a complete ripoff, complete 100% ripoff of the Stephen King It story. And I've got it, and I'm going to watch it. There's no subtitles, so I don't even know what the hell they're going to be saying. But I'm going to be watching this show, and we'll talk about it when that day comes.
Well,
but I'm guessing you liked it. I've been hearing some good reviews.
I thought it, like, if you were a fan of the latest movies,
yes,
I think that it absolutely flows very well into continuing a story. If you're a fan of the book, the horror is fantastic.
Great.
It's fantastic.
Well, that's good to hear.
But yeah, no, I do want to hear about meeting with Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine Johnson. Did you get an opportunity? Now, was this an interview situation or?
No, it was his announcement. It was at the State House. They took it indoors because of the rain.
Yeah.
And so we're there in the lobby, essentially. And the camera crews were all there. Lots of media were there. And I was literally 5 feet away from the podium when he gave his announcement speech. And it was a packed room. It was great energy. He did a fantastic job kicking it off. And I'll tell you all about it.
Well, I will end it with this, that and kudos to some of the people commenting in some of the news releases about Dr. Jermaine Johnson announcing his candidacy. One person commented and said, "Who is this guy? I've never heard of him before." The comment underneath that was, "Shame on you for not knowing who your House of Representatives are." Not like, what a dumb question to ask.
Yeah.
Like, all that does is it just points to your absolute ignorance. That's amazing. It's amazing. Well, I guess that's going to wrap it up. Bill, I hope you have a really good weekend, and
I
look
do
forward
too.
to the release of the episode with Dr. Annie Andrews. That'll be fun. Is this the one where you interview the guy about the book about Trump and Aaron Burr? Is that this one?
We have that as a bonus part of our show. Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode.
In fact, we just asked Annie Andrews a lot of questions about Aaron Burr. That was what the interview was. And she didn't have any really good answers. I'll be honest. It was very disappointing. She didn't know her Aaron Burr history.
I cannot even imagine what type of person has that knowledge just sitting at their hands. But
I will say she did read some very passionate love poems about Henry McMaster. That was really interesting when she just cracked that out of nowhere. I didn't expect that.
I had a conversation with a guy last night that I never would have thought before, but could potentially be another one of those people that would write love letters to Henry McMaster.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Big thanks for everybody watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can follow me at Barrett Gruber, Bill at Political Bill SC. Thanks for liking and hitting the bell, please. And if you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.